Welcome,
Live.
everyone, to the Copilot battle. Microsoft 365 Copilot, magic, or meh, who knows if it's actually useful. Super glad to have all of you with us. We've got a lot of people registered for this webinar. It seems to have captured the attention, and we've only got half an hour. And we talk a lot, me especially. So I'm going to get moving through this. Feel free to keep filing into the room as we go along, but it is going to be a Copilot battle here for the ages. Firstly, how is this going to run? It is a battle here, so much like boxing or maybe wrestling. I know people are very fond of wrestling. We've got a tag team affair here. Team expectations against team reality here. So we're going to have two different viewpoints on Copilot. The reason that we wanted to do that was there's been a lot of expectations happening out there. Mark, Julie, Joy, and there's also been some crushing reality as well with Copilot. So we want to have a really honest and fun conversation about this. So firstly, in the Orchestry corner, myself, my name is Michael Basarik. I am the only non-MVP on this call, so very proud to be that. Founder and janitor of Orchestry, and I'm joined today by Joy. Hello, Joy.
Hello, Michael, Julie, Mark, Director of Customer and Partner Success at Orchestry, 17 years in the Microsoft space. So looking fun to get to kind of brawl a little bit today.
Perfect. A little bit about us. We are a governance, security, and adoption platform for Microsoft 365. We can help you get ready for Copilot in a fraction of the time, at a fraction of the cost, and the out-of-the-box tools. We have lots of good stuff. We're here with Simpraxis. They're partners of ours. They like Orchestry. They've sold Orchestry to their customers, right? They're here. So there we go. All right, let's talk a little bit around Team Simpraxis here.
Well, I can start since I'm on the left. Julie Turner, partner with Mark Anderson, president, partner, and we've been doing this for a really long time. So we're happy to be here with Orchestry.
Perfect. Mark?
That seems like more than enough. I mean, we want to get into the battle here.
Okay. Yeah, Mark's frothing at the mouth to get going in here. Tell us a little bit about Simpraxis. Lots of MVPs. You do lots of good stuff. Great people, great friends, great partners. If you need M365 consulting, these are the folks that you want to go to. All right, let's get to the battling. Today's rules of engagement. We've got 3 times 5-minute rounds here, folks, of a battle for the ages, team expectations versus team reality. You do decide who wins each round. If you've never been to an Orchestry webinar before and you thought this was not going to be interactive, you will be sadly mistaken. We'll be calling on you to comment, to heckle, to mock. Team expectations will be going first each round. We had a we had a coin flip at the beginning, like any Super Bowl. Team expectations would go first. And again, folks, get involved, do some heckling, and have some fun. We've never done one of these in half an hour before. Typically, when we do webinars, it's just Mark droning on for hours about a whole bunch of nonsense. So we're going to try this format. How do you get involved? Right? Use the chat, ask the questions. Again, we're all here. I'm going to launch a poll in just a second as well, but definitely get involved, because if we have time at the end of this, we are also going to do a user-generated question for round 4. So if you have any questions, please put them into the chat and we'll be able to do that as well. All right, let's talk about Copilot. Everyone knows it. I'm sure you've heard about it, especially in Microsoft 365, because it seems to be what everyone has been talking about. What is projected? Hours saved, people more productive, catching up on meetings, all sorts of good stuff as well. And again, the reason that we wanted to do this was, we work with customers. I'm sure your customers of Copilot. There's some really good things. We've heard some really fantastic things, but also we've heard some organizations having a little bit of trouble with Copilot as well. And that's why we are here to help. Now, before we go, because we are right on time, I'm going to reopen a poll here really, really quickly. See, Mark, I told you it was going to be right on time. Where are you in your Copilot journey? No plans to start in the first 6 months. Maybe you've started and you're doing Copilot readiness here. Maybe you're in a pilot with a limited set of users, you've deployed, but less than 50% of your users are using it, or you've deployed it to the majority of users here as well. Feel free to answer, folks, get involved. I'm going to submit. I'm just going to leave this here because I think it just keeps bubbling to the right-hand side here. Oh, 50 responses. Wow, okay. Tremendous.
Guys are good.
It's good. 54 here. Let's give you 10 more seconds here.
We're
Mark
not
is-
going to answer again. I'm going to close it. I'm not
No.
going to answer again.
Yeah, you can close it. Really quickly, pretty even split between no plans to start doing Copilot readiness. A bunch of you are in pilots, a third, and only 16% have deployed to less than 50%. Only 6% of you folks have deployed to the majority of users in your organization. So there we go.
It's up to 8. Those numbers are changing.
These
fast.
are Copilot curious people.
Is that the correct terminology here? Hang on.
Absolutely.
Hang on, what's happened here? All right. Ding, ding, ding. I couldn't get sound effects for a bell, so I apologize. We'll do this better next time, folks. Let me close the poll here as well here. All right. Round 1. First question. All organizations can benefit from Microsoft 365 Copilot today. Be very specific around the questions. This took us a lot of time to word these questions correctly. Round 1. All organizations can benefit from Microsoft 365 Copilot today. Joy, I am starting the stopwatch for 90 seconds for team expectations. Go.
Okay, so I'm going to split my words just a little bit. They can. I think they can. There's a lot of potential there. We have to be careful how we define can. I do think no matter what the industry is, there's benefit for you. And yeah, people are going to use it because it's cool. It's the new hotness. People are hearing about Copilot. It's a big buzzword that generates interest. Now, if this were going to be an honest battle, I would have other opinions, but I'm going to give way to team reality to weigh in on some of this.
Hang on, Joe. We got 45 more seconds. Let me be let me be a little bit more controversial here, Joy. Excuse me, Joy. I've seen nothing.
Controversy.
I have seen nothing but videos and people talking about how wonderful Copilot is and it's going to change my life. That is my expectation. My
demos are
expectation
amazing.
I saw people going in, putting a couple of words into a box, and now I'm 97% more effective. As far as I'm concerned, if I'm paying $30 a month, it's going to go into my organization. It's going to change the way that I work. I don't need any training, and it's going to be amazing. That's what I expect from all of the stuff that I've heard from everywhere. And we are out of time. Team reality, go.
Well, Michael. So I think part of my view of this is it all depends on how good your digital estate is, if you will. And I've been using the phrase digital estate to talk about everything that Copilot might stick its nose into. And that's exactly what Copilot does, much like search does. It sees everything that you as an end user have permission to. So if you ask Copilot something inside your organization, let's not talk about Copilot externally at the moment, but if we ask Copilot, we prompt it in a certain way, it's going to look at everything that you have access to and give you answers based on that content. Well, how stale is your content? How many duplicate versions of things do you have available? And when I say version, I mean, document A final, document A final V2, document A final V3, which each say different things. So in most organizations, the content is a bit of a mess. It's not organized in such a way that it's optimal, even just for finding things with search. Search is hard, and so learning how to prompt well is a skill on top of search. So teaching people how the Copilot capabilities might help them in various situations is a requirement. It's not just It's going to help you today. It may help you down the road as your organization becomes more mature to be able to take advantage of it.
Well, let's add into the fact that if you're not a document-centric organization, so if your content, your information does not live in documents as of today, just because it knows about you and your organization, it doesn't know about the content that isn't in a document. And so, it can look at your user information and who your manager is and things like that, but it can't look at the other information that's either stored in SharePoint or Teams and or not even stored on that platform. What if you use Documentum or some other SaaS product for most of your content? Unless you build integrations with that, you're not going to get the value of that. So all organizations, not really.
Awesome.
I
Anything
have a
else?
smidge of a comment to say.
You've got
Smidge
10
of a comment
seconds.
to say.
10 seconds
Okay, but
to
is there
retort.
value? Is there value then for an organization to turn Copilot on, maybe in a limited area, to see, oh, this is the mess of our digital estate. This is a problem. Once my issues are highlighted, now I know I should address them.
I think you could do that with search without paying $30 per user per month.
And I think if you are going to do that with Copilot, don't do it in IT. And that's what I see a lot of organizations do. They're doing their pilot with 5 IT people. And IT people are not representative of the rest of the organization, nor are all of the executives. That's another thing I see people doing. Oh, we'll turn it on for all the executives and we'll see how it goes. You really want to do a random, not random, but a good cross section of your organization to see where there are pockets of benefit so that you know where to roll it out more.
100% agree. All right, folks, round 1. Let us know who you think won. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious here, but let us know who won. So some recommendations for round 1, kind of like Mark talked about, assess readiness and use cases. The biggest challenge that we hear from organizations around Copilot is that you're just not ready from the perspective of security, governance, and really understanding the types of content that you have. Again, we hear this a lot. A lot of organizations are doing this, is starting with the pilot program. But as Mark mentioned, I totally agree. IT is not really reality of an organization. Make sure that your pilot essentially includes a whole bunch of people. The other one I really like here is look at your industry and specific concerns or use cases. How Copilot could be implemented in something like law and legal is very different if it's, I don't know, a construction agency, for instance, there as well, right? There's various industry rules there that we have.
Yeah, if your organization is focused on generating content, and you use legal as an example, generating content like as part of your daily business, that's going to be a better benefit than if you're, say, in manufacturing. You're not generating lots of documents necessarily.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I would say too, real quick for the pilot program, do it in cohorts in departments. Don't just spread it out like one person per department, because then by using the graph, you're going to get more realistic results from your pilot program.
All right, folks, let's keep it moving here. By the way, love the meeting chat conversation. I would love to put some of these in, but there's too many. We will try to get back to them at the end.
I heard a bell.
Round 2. Ding, ding. Was that you, Joy, with the bell? There we go.
That's our secret weapon.
All right,
Valerie.
round 2, folks. Round 2, brutal
Julie,
round.
I can't figure out what's going on.
Brutal round.
This is just crazy.
Okay, round 2. I told you this was gonna be quick. All right, round 2. You can just turn on Copilot, and it's going to work. Joy,
Statement.
The team expectations. You can start, and I'll come in with my ramblings at the end.
Oh, I love your ramblings. I've been drinking my blue Microsoft Kool-Aid here. Absolutely. You flip that switch and it works. It goes. Your licensed users can immediately jump in and start using it the moment their license is activated. And yes, in the demos, it works perfectly every time. Absolutely, 100%. You will get results. It will work. Based on what I've seen, to get started with the experimentation, it does not require a lot of training or coaching. I have a feeling my reality friends are going to come in and have some opinions, but it is a true statement. Turn it on and it does work.
My again, my expectation is kind of the same as Joy's. It's a simple tool. It's a simple license. I can assign it to people. It's ubiquitous throughout my entire experience, whether I'm in Teams meetings, whether I'm going through the Microsoft 365 chat thing. So, I feel that my expectation should be I can just turn this on and it's going to magically work like everything else in Microsoft
Magic.
365 magically works, like
It just
search
works.
and intranets and all of that sort of stuff. I have a
Like
feeling
Delph
that
did.
I have a feeling that Team Reality might not agree with us. So let me turn it over to Team Reality now.
Well, this is a statement I can actually agree with. You can just turn it on and it will work. That is true as a statement. But will it work well? And will it solve actual problems? That's the question.
And will it be accurate?
Yeah. So I think there are a couple things that we need to think about. What are the problems you're trying to solve? It doesn't make any sense to say, let's turn on Copilot because Microsoft says Copilot's great and we don't want to miss out on great. You need to find some actual problems you want to solve and see if it will help solve those problems. So for example, if you run a call center and you want people to be able to answer questions better, test that, see if it works well. If you're not sure how it can help you, but you're worried you're going to miss out, what are you testing? What are you proving? What are you piloting for? The other thing that I'm seeing with our clients is because permissions are a bit of a mess, like they are in most organizations, I think probably ours too. Permissions get messy. Copilot's going to find things and so not necessarily give you good answers. Julie mentioned sometimes it gives you wrong answers. Well, sometimes the wrong answers are because of your own content being wrong. So you really want to try and do a bit of a survey of, what can Copilot see? What areas do we want to remove from Copilot's view? Because it's like a truffle pig. It finds everything. It's pernicious. Is that a word? I don't know.
Now.
You know all the words, so that's pretty shocking.
Pugnacious and persistent makes pernicious. So I think when we're doing pilots, we're sort of testing those boundaries. Are we finding things that are relevant? Are we making sure that permissions are not a problem? You'd be surprised if you run some reports, which you can do with lots of different tools, including Orchestry, or run some PowerShell or something. You're going to be surprised what content is actually available to everyone in your organization that you don't realize. It might be in somebody's OneDrive. It might be who knows where, and it might be have been sitting around for a really long time.
Okay, 10 more seconds here.
So it will work.
Thank you.
Will it solve a problem is the question.
Julie, or do you want to hold your thoughts to the next round?
I think we've covered it. I think we've covered it. I think we won already, so there's no point in pontificating.
Okay. Well, let's not go that far. Now, some really good chat things that someone has mentioned around training. I think Athena, thank you, talking about the battle that people want to have Copilot, but they don't have time for training, and I totally agree. So, recommendations for round 2 of just turning Copilot on. I think we've talked about this, that technical readiness component around your content, your permissions, your versioning, all of that sort of stuff is very, very important. I would also say, look at, from a technical readiness perspective, some of the settings that you have to look at in terms of sharing settings, sensitivity labels, and everything else. We've talked about piloting in a controlled environment. The customers that we have seen have the most success with Copilot in general target specific use cases. They're not just rolling out Copilot, right? They're targeting a specific use case. Hey, we want to decrease the time it takes for people to attend meetings and take notes. Hey, we want to decrease the time it takes potentially to respond to RFPs by reusing knowledge within our organization. That's the type of business value that we find can work really well. And the reason for that is then you can train users on that particular use case, rather than trying to train them to become these Copilot prompting masters, which is going to be really, really difficult as well. But the biggest thing, I think, Joy, you agree with this, this is not a project. It's a long-term initiative that requires training and requires investment from
Yes.
both the organization and users in terms of the way that they work. Okay.
Somebody
I
use
would
my
point
line real
out that
quick.
the
Go ahead, Julie.
I was just going to say, I would point out that the SharePoint agents, the new SharePoint agents, are a really good way to dip your toe in to do a small use case scenario where, hey, I've got this library of documents. Maybe I want to do an FAQ on that library and test it out that way. And that gives you a good starting point that's very contained.
Tremendous point. All right. Moving on to round 3. Was that you with the sound effects again, Joy?
Not me, it's Valerie.
What is
She's
that
the
noise? I'm
queen.
salivating.
She's our hero.
This is amazing. All right, round 3, folks. Copilot is easy to use effectively. The key words in here are easy and effectively. 4, team expectations. Joy, you have the stage.
Go. So, we talk a lot about natural language. So there is a natural language element to this of just like having a conversation, not having to, like when we teach search, it was about Boolean syntax queries and all that. Not so much having to lean into that these days. So definitely can be something where you say it's a conversation where you're inquiring for information about your data. The answers are given in a relevant manner. It is definitely, again, having a conversation, not so much querying. So I will set that as an expectation.
As the grumbly person who has totally drunk the Microsoft Kool-Aid over the last 18 months, my expectation is that Copilot is very simple and straightforward to use, doesn't require any specialized skills, and the answers from Copilot and every single demo I've seen are perfect. They're correct, they're relevant, and they're useful every single time. Now, I'm being facetious here. I've been facetious here, but that's the expectation I think has been maybe set at the beginning. I think we're starting to see reality creep in here. But really, when we speak to a lot of organizations and users, they start with this very high inflated expectations, but we see that go down fairly quickly.
So in that slide we had at the beginning, like the things we heard, those were quotes from partners that have implemented Copilot, and their customer said, I can turn it on. It will help me look at my data and understand it instantly. It will just work. It will be like a little angel on my shoulder that helps me do my work continuously throughout the day. Those are 100% expectations that Copilot customers have.
All right, we're going to turn it over to Team Reality. Team Reality, I'm going to limit you here to 60 seconds because we're running out of time.
Harsh.
All right. So easy to use effectively. I like to tell the story of, I asked Copilot when we first turned it on, what's been going on at Simpraxis? And it gave me a big, long answer. Not one single thing it told me was true. It told me we'd won awards, our revenue was doing this, we had hired people, all kinds of stuff. So as an expert in what Simpraxis is doing, I can look at that and make some reasoning judgments, right? I think people tend to take the responses from something like that, something like Copilot, and believe they're right. And if you don't know the domain that you're working in, that's very, very dangerous. If you're at least a middling expert or at least middling knowledgeable about a topic, then you can make some trade-offs. You can say, well, this is good, this is not good, this is something I need to look into.
Copilot in code is wrong almost 95% of the time.
Yeah.
My experience.
When I'm writing PowerShell, for example, it often gives me commandlets that don't even exist or that have switches that don't do anything or whatever. Prompting is also a tremendous skill. I get it. Searching is a skill. Most people are not great at searching. That's also a skill. Prompting is harder than searching and requires more typing and more refinement. So I think that's going to take people a while.
All right. Thank you.
But wait.
Okay.
You needed the Oscars music.
Hang on. Can I?
Good call. Next one.
I'm just going to mute you here. Okay. Round 3. Here. some of our recommendations. I think we've talked about a lot of these. My favorite one, and this wasn't from me, this was actually from ChatGPT. I think this is really an interesting one here. You
From
might have to
what?
go, you might have to go slow to go fast. And I really like that because a lot of organizations think they put in Copilot and there's this just bang through the roof productivity. People have to change the way they work. They're gonna have to need training. You have to make sure that users need to have training there. So you might see a bit of a dip while people get ready for Copilot and some of these AI tools before you start to get some of those productivity gains. Joy, go.
One of the fastest speed shooter people in the world back in the day, Jerry Mikulak, had a saying, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. And that can apply to anything. You'll start out slow, but you will refine those skills. That will bring you speed and efficiency in the future.
Perfect. Okay. We've got 4 minutes left, folks. We are going to do the bonus round. It is going to be the quickest bonus round ever. Mark Morris, I'm going to use yours because there's far too many comments, which is amazing. And this is a topic everyone is very passionate about. The bonus round question today is, Microsoft has spent years building out the value of metadata in SharePoint. Copilot helps to continue that debate. So I think Mark's question might be, is metadata currently used or useful in Copilot? And should organizations keep investing in the value of metadata?
I never metadata I didn't like. Metadata is important. Metadata is critical. You will have so much more success in your environment if you embrace metadata. Stop nesting content in folders, flatten your architecture. Metadata, metadata, metadata. Yes, they hate it. I see you, Edward. They hate it. Help them.
Users hate
it.
applying metadata that doesn't bring them clear
Value.
benefit, right? If they see that if they check something off their list, it goes away and they don't have to worry about it anymore. They've just added metadata that is good for them.
Yep.
The other,
Make it useless.
the other
Mark,
thing that's important here, and you're not going to cut me off, Michael. You can't, because I've climbed over the ropes.
I'm going to look at Oscar.
Right now,
music.
Copilot does not look at that metadata. We can't say, look at all of the statements of work and write me a new one, because it doesn't know that they're statements of work, that they have that content type, or that it's a statement of work that we won versus lost. That's coming, but it's not there yet. What that means is keep adding that metadata that is beneficial for people. Keep investing in that, because once it does understand that metadata, Copilot's going to become much, much more valuable, but not today.
Tremendous. Thank you, Mark. I was trying to find Oscar's walk-off music on my phone. I couldn't do it, folks, but we are at an end of today's session. Who won today's battle? Team expectations, team reality, or really society and humanity in general? Right? Because of what we have here as well. So what do we got? Okay, this Joy.
I think the people in the chat won a lot.
The people in the chat, and we got shellacked here, Joy.
Really
so
good
we're gonna
chat.
have to put on another thing here. Final thing here, folks. Let me close this poll.
There's a chance we did play to lose. Let's just call it what it is.
Okay, let us know here. I know we've been facetious. This is really a topic all four of us care about. I know everyone else does here, so we're not trying to be too facetious here. What do you folks think of this format? I know it's very quick, very funky here, but let us know, because we're quite interested if we would want to do this again. And of course, if you would want to do this again as well here. What do we got? 30-minute format. Okay, I'll leave this up here. Blatant sales plug for Orchestry here. Of course, we can help you get ready for Copilot. We're nice people. The product works, all of that sort of good stuff. And finally, next webinar is coming up pretty soon, all around Copilot tips and tricks for another one of our wonderful partners, Sharon Weaver, as well here. So let's do that. Let me close this other poll here. 63% of you like the 30-minute format. 36% of you want a 60-minute format. 1% of you says this format doesn't work at all. Thank you for trying. Appreciate that someone was honest here as well.
That was me.
I was going to say it was Anderson.
Okay.
No, it actually wasn't. I'm sorry that we didn't meet your expectations.
There we go.
Yes,
folks.
very sad.
Listen, thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed this. I think we're going to do this again. We are going to do this again. Next time we'll be
Let's
more
do it.
organized. Again, listen.
More organized.
More
We are
organized. How can we be
ev-
more organized than that?
Everyone is a fan of Copilot here. Everyone loves Microsoft 365, but we're here to give you the honest, news.
Reality
here of
does
what's going
matter.
on. Reality
Yes.
does matter. Thank you, everyone. Again, we'll send all
Thank
this
you.
out. We'll see you next time, and enjoy your day. Thanks, everyone. Thanks,
Thanks,
Mark.
bye.
Thanks, Judy. Thanks, Joy.